sunlight, and I am not. Okay, maybe I can see the chat here. So what's up? I see I made the mistake of digging into the comment section of my recap video. I try not to do that too often. But I had a sense, even as I was wrapping up last night, I was like, people don't agree. That's why I made the comment. I was like, well, I am a little tired. So I did some re-listening this morning, didn't re-listen to the entire show, and most of the first set, I think I pretty much said what I wanted to say, although the tube was a little better than I probably gave it credit for. I think I described it as just kind of like a normal tube with a little bit of a jam, which, hey, what's up, Forbin? Which that wasn't really the case. It was a little bit of an extended jam, and I gave the Kill Devil Falls probably more love than the tube, when really they were both great. Now, I think people got a little overly excited about Roses. Just simply the fact that it was Roses gets people pretty fired up, but it was just okay. Hey, what's going on, Russell? And but then the second set, look, I mean, the Carini was just okay, I thought. I re-listened to the entire Carini, and I thought it sounded like a lot of what we've got this summer. Whether if it was, maybe the previous Fuego came to mind, even the previous Carini. Now, I don't mean obviously note for note, it sounded the same, but I know if I went and tested my wife and just went to a random moment in Fuego or a random moment in the recent Disease or Chalk Dust maybe, or last night's Carini or the first Carini, she would not be able to, she would probably be like, yeah, that was all the same song, wasn't it? So I mean, in that sense, I mean, they all kind of sounded alike. Which they're not too guilty of too often, but I do feel like this summer they've been a little guilty of that. So I guess maybe that was my problem with the Carini, why the Carini didn't get 2 thumbs way up. And then the You Enjoy Myself, that's one of my favorite songs. And most days it's going to be my favorite song. So I felt like it was, I guess the word rushed is probably appropriate. Like maybe now they're aware that they're going to jam after the vocal jam. I have no problems with them rushing through the vocal jam. Oh, one thing I should have mentioned, though, is Fishman continued the vocal jam. Like, he added his vocal part to the extended jam there, post-vocal. So I thought that was kind of cool. I wish I would have mentioned that. And then, yes, there was lots of teases throughout the night, not only of Fish songs, but there was some Yankee Doodle thing going on. There was dueling banjos. I think Mike and Trey got the dueling banjos credit, but I'm almost sure I heard Paige and Trey have a little duel for a moment there. So there was a few things that I wish I had mentioned that I forgot to mention, but overall it didn't really change my opinion of the show. I think I said it was just an okay show, which people took exception to that, some more brutal than others. But I would think that, I think by, maybe it was just that, maybe last year I got a little spoiled with almost every show just being so good. I feel like then in April, every show was so good. Okay, maybe not the Bill Graham shows, but a lot of you guys even thought the Bill Graham shows were great. So maybe I'm just comparing it to what we've got over the last year, and I feel like these have been a little bit of a step back. Now, I do appreciate them trying to play more songs, but it's possible that them taking the opportunity, the effort to play more songs, I don't know, perhaps it's hurting the shows overall. Now, most of you would probably disagree. So I don't know, I guess that was it. My take was that, and my first thought was, maybe it's me. Maybe this was a much better show than I thought. But then when I re-listened to some of the key points this morning, I thought, no, this is just an okay show. Now, and I think it gets a little bit of a boost from playing popular fan favorites that are not played often. Roses Are Free, I think Sneakin' Sally. I think people love that. I'll try to take a look at the chat here in a moment if I can. Hey, what's up, Ninja Cat Matt? See you all over the internet, man. Big Fish fan, aren't you? I've been trying to check out some of Tokyo Record Style's live streams. That's where I've been seeing Ninja Cat Matt. If you guys don't know Tokyo Record Style, he's out on the road right now doing some things, but he does do some long-form fish chats, him and his friend, show partner, I'm not exactly sure, Andrea is her name. They seem to do a couple episodes together. I'm kind of new to the channel. It's all new, so. But it's worth checking out, Tokyo Record Style. Just type that in. If that doesn't get you anywhere, just add fish recap or something. Seems like a good dude. Pretty long form recaps though. But that's good though, because when I do these short form recaps, as last night, I leave a lot of stuff off. So I guess that's my take. Yeah, Kill Devil Falls was really good. I thought Tube was just as good though. I think maybe last night in my recap I was kind of more pro Kill Devil Falls. That's another thing. Somebody said that I'm like too hard on them or something. But even on a night like that where I said it was just an okay show, I still said lots of positive things. And then the stuff that I am negative on, I mean, like just saying that they kind of flew through that YEM, that's like, I just feel like that's almost matter of fact rather than it is any kind of negativity. I don't know, but there's just always going to, and I'll tell you one thing, usually the people that say that I'm a little bit too harsh are, they have a Grateful Dead avatar. I think they are true love and light people. Grateful Dead fans, they're not frauds. They really live the love and light life. These sunglasses are super cool, I know. They were damaged in the ocean. Somewhere in my near-death experience in the ocean, I lost one of my little rubber knobs, I noticed. That's okay. Yeah, well, considering it had a vocal jam and a post-vocal jam, yeah, I would say that's flying. I would say you could do a 20-minute YEM before you even get to the vocal jam. Yeah, I would say that is flying through it, definitely. I'm sticking to that one, man. Sometimes I'm wrong, and I'm like, maybe you're right. Maybe that's not the case. That was definitely the case. They flew through that. Love will carry us through. How dare you drop those lyrics in my live chat. So I don't know, peeps. That's about it. Yeah, you're right, D-Rush. And then some people I feel like, no matter what, if I just like, if I carry on for 7 or 8 minutes and maybe if you add up all the stuff I didn't like, it's like 30 seconds. And I don't know, I just described that as Fish fans dwelling on the negative. Yeah, Ninja Cat Matt agrees. Take care, you too, man. And then, yeah, I did. I wish I had mentioned all the teases. Those were kind of cool. Like at first I was like, is that Yankee Doodle? And then it took me a minute on the dueling banjos. That's another thing. Sometimes I hear a tease and it's like just as I'm wanting to hear it and like almost got it, it's on the tip of my tongue. They're done and they move on. And then the light. Like I'm also a big Light fan. I know people are sick of Light. And where Light was played, it was like, this is probably not going to be good. But it just started to get good. And yeah, I know Forbin, dude. It's all good. And Light was just starting to get good. And it was like, no. Trey completely took all their toys away and made them play What's the Use. Which I'm not a big fan of What's the Use. Like a solid Light jam over What's the Use all day for me. I know some people might disagree with that. I did think it was very cool. It is very cool how you can get an entire stadium like that to calm down. So there was lots of things I wish I had mentioned, and then the one thing I did remember to mention was the Coach Prime reference. I don't even know if that was a Coach Prime reference or not, but I feel like it was. I mean, I feel like if you're at Folsom Field, like backstage, if you're Fish, you're getting the run of the place. Yeah, it has a very Deion Sanders feel to it, I would imagine. And they were like, you know what? We say Prime and Fluffhead. We got to play it. All right. I was going to do some picks here too, but I think it might get a little confusing. Some people might make picks live, and I'll probably never see them. I'll just do another picks video later, I suppose. I'll tell you one thing, though. During Sneaking Sally Through the Alley, I wrote down What's the Use. I was like, they're going to play What's the Use tomorrow. Well. So then when they played What's the Use, I was like, okay, they'll play 2001 tomorrow. It took away my 2-second set instrumentals, man. So now I got nothing for an instrumental in the second set. In fact, I'm looking at my picks here. I pretty much got 5 first set songs picked. I'm going to have to redo these. I wrote down Gin, Undermine, Theme from the Bottom, Evolve, and Ether Edge. I'm sticking to that Ether Edge, man. I'm going to die on the Ether Edge hill. What if they never play it again and I just keep calling it? Yeah, I'll do a separate video for sure. It may come in short form, though, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. What's an instrumental they could play in the second set tonight? Take the A Train. Okay, that would be more first set, but you're right. Dude, picks have been real tough. I'm not doing any better than you, Forbin. I've had one good night so far. Once again, hit a 1 for last night. Okay, so Daniel kind of, and Daniel, I think that was also it. I started out with kind of crapping on the Wolfmans with the lack of telephone ring. One guy was like, why do you care about that telephone ring? It doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense. Yeah, I disagree there. I strongly disagree there. It's like a very cool part, a very obviously cool part of that song. It's like a distinct, unique part of the song, and you can't just skip it. You know, what if they just skipped the cool parts in Fluffhead or Maze or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe those parts don't. Maybe Fluffhead certainly has some parts. The part where the record's skipping. What if they just skipped that in Fluffhead? Would you be like, ah, whatever, it's nonsense? So then, so yeah, man, just a lack of effort on the very first song. And then I'm saying that. So my recap got started out on a negative note, I suppose, and then it ended on a negative note. But there was lots of positive stuff in between. So maybe that's why the feedback was a little bit, hey man, you suck. You should listen again, or you're wrong. Stuff like, you know, nothing too bad, just stuff like that, basically. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's something to do something with this new guitar, man. Trey can't play the ring on his new guitar. And maybe that guy's right. Whatever. Maybe it's just nonsense. Song count was high, which I don't want to complain about that because I was just recently saying, you know, maybe they could back off these 30 and 40-minute jams, keep the jams to like a maximum of 20 minutes and give us a few more songs. But I did not have in mind them just totally pulling the plug on Light right when it was starting to get good. Yeah, I think so too. You know, maybe, and when a show is just real, when I just go crazy for a show, I think it's more, I'm a little bit more, but you know, look, man, I ain't never going to be the guy that spells family with a PH, okay? You know, you see those fans, you know what I mean? Like, and good for them. I don't mean to crap on them. I love that there's these diehard fish fans that live and die fish. I mean, it's how I've come up with a YouTube channel, man. If fish fans weren't so diehard, none of this would matter. And, you know, sometimes people tell me, like, oh, just stop talking. Why you got to talk about the shows? You don't need to talk about the shows. Can you imagine where fish would be if fans didn't talk about them? I mean, they are what they are because fans talk about them. Yeah, you're right. You're a little bit right there. I mean, even just 2 or 3 more minutes of that Light, man. And there's been a song or two this tour that you know, sometimes once they get past that first 45 minutes to an hour of the first second set, they're kind of gonna just, you know, coast to the end, start knocking off some songs. But there has been maybe like a third song, a little bit past mid second set that's they've given some strong effort to. That was not quite the case last night with that Light, unfortunately. And I just felt like, and sometimes I don't know, songs just come to them in the moment, and other times I do feel like it's premeditated. I feel like the What's the Use was perhaps premeditated. I mean, they sure do play that out there in Colorado a lot. Yeah, man, I'm just not the PH guy. Like, I'm a diehard and I love them, but I guess I'm just not geeky like that, maybe. Um, I mean, there were times. Now I gotta say, I never did the PH thing. I never did that. In fact, I started spelling phone with an F. Dude, it's getting hot. The sun was a bad decision. Calling them more tonight. All right, Jim. I considered a Miss You. And then I was like, well, does Miss You count as a long shot? If they play it about once a year, 1.5 times a year. Yeah, Pillow Jets, you know, they really, the kind of wild, crazy part in Pillow Jets that has some room to play around with. If they don't really do much there, then Pillow Jets is going to be a big thumbs down for me. I'm glad you like that one. Grateful Look. Dude, I think my phone's going to melt in this sun. Or me. Plan on chatting a little longer and trying to pay a little closer attention to the chat. That's why I keep going back and forth with the glasses. It's actually easier to see with the glasses off, I feel. Dude, I'm sweating like Trey during a Fluffhead. He got through it, though. There was maybe a part or two that was like, that didn't sound right. It was hard to, you couldn't really put your finger on what it was. It just didn't sound real smooth from one section to the next. But then there was parts of Fluffhead where you might expect a little bit of a hiccup or a mistake to be made, and they kind of nailed those parts. I wish Mike would have been a little more enthusiastic with the check this out. You know what? I think I removed Hood. I had Hood last night in my picks. I gotta put Hood back. What's going on with Bathtub Gin? I mean, that was a strong regular. Not only was it heavy in the rotation, it was usually pretty good. Although I may need to reshuffle my idea. Sometimes I'm a little bit stuck in the past, like maybe Wolfman's and Gin. There's another song, even Light. Like songs that maybe I'm still a little bit stuck in the past. Like, man, these songs dominate every single time. They rule. Maybe that's not the case with Bathtub Gin, and it's been coming too. You know, this isn't nothing new. So maybe Gin had its heyday there. You know, 2000 what, 15, 16, 19, 21. All those years, I do feel like Bathtub Gin was one of their best. But maybe over the last couple of years, it has backed off a little bit, and now it's just totally missing. Sin of a Mule too. Maybe save that for Columbus. Feels more like a Colorado thing, but I'd love for them to play Sin of a Mule in Columbus. I know Gin's got to be coming. Maybe they're just not going to play Gin like 4 times this summer, like normally. It's like Theme from the Bottom has kind of jumped in there. The theme was always pretty good, but do you mean crowd-wise? Oh, Mule tonight. Ah, come on. I was hoping they'd save Mule. Well, if I have a sunburn in tonight's video, you'll know why. That's only been 16 and a half minutes. Yeah, Forbin agrees. He wants it there. Surprised the neighbor's cat hasn't stopped by. It's too hot. All right, well, I guess I just sat here and gave myself a moment of silence. I guess it's time to wrap this up. I'll be back later to make some picks. I'll be back. Maybe I'll have a beer for tonight's show, you know? I don't do that very often. Although one beer, man, I get buzzed pretty hard. It's Ice in Philly. Okay, I definitely don't feel like they're going to play It's Ice when it's like this. Boom, you two. We'll see you guys tonight, and we'll probably also see you this afternoon. Stop by. Maybe it might be a YouTube short. I can't promise where you'll find the picks video, but the picks video will be somewhere on my channel. And tonight I'll drink a beer, and I'll try to be more positive. All right, guys. Boom. Love you. I don't know, man. If they pull the plug on my light again, I ain't going to be positive. If they end it with a character 0 after a lackluster end of the set, I calls them like I hears them. Boom, we're out of here. I love you guys. You're the best.